So, Daniel, I do see you talking a little bit about China on social media, and I think you can speak to this as well, and it is big news today. So, China's new home prices falling at the fastest pace in nearly 10 years. Can you talk a little bit about that? What options do Chinese officials have at the moment?
Well, I think that it's going to be very, very difficult for them to accept it. But Chinese officials need to understand that they have only one way of addressing the largest real estate bubble in recent history. It's larger than the real estate bubble of Sweden, of Spain, of the United States, of the UK in relative terms. So the burst of the real estate bubble in China needs to see deflation in prices. There is only one way in which you can deal with it, which is by actually making homes significantly more affordable for Chinese citizens in order to absorb part of that excess of building, which has been absolutely staggering. Now, if Chinese officials, in order to combat deflation, decide to implement measures to keep prices elevated or unaffordable for the majority of people, then two things happen. And we have seen it in Spain, we have seen it in Sweden, we have seen it in Iceland. Two things happen. One is that the excess of supply of homes is not reduced. Second is that the economy enters into weakness regardless. So there's only one way in which you can deal with a real estate bubble burst, which is by accepting that the prices of homes as they were being put to the market was completely different and significantly higher than what the reality would accept. And if they try to bring home prices up, that is not going to work. It never works. The only way in which you deal with it is the way that the United States, you will need foreclosures, you will need to see write-offs of real estate portfolios in the banking sector. All of those things need to happen. So you need to have, let's say, the reckoning moment of lower home prices, and then maybe you start to recover.
Okay, so I think the fear here, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that because real estate for China is a big contributor to economic growth, to GDP, so I mean, I guess officials don't really want prices to come down because of that factor, but you're saying that China is likely to see economic slowdown anyways. So yeah. Why do you say that?
Well, because it's inevitable. We have seen so many real estate bubbles in so many countries that we now have enough information to understand that that bloating GDP with a real estate bubble creates very significant imbalances that always come back to bite. No, so. If I was a Chinese official, I would look at things from a glass half full way, which would be, hey, look, yes, we have this massive problem in the real estate sector, but the economy is still going to grow 4%. If they look at it from the perspective, we don't want prices to come down, we want prices to stay where they are and continue to build as much as we did in order to continue to have the level of GDP growth that the provinces demand, etc., then you don't solve the real estate bubble and you don't get the benefits that could make more people access a home. So there's, a real estate bubble is no government wants to acknowledge a real estate bubble because it makes it. It shows that the policy implemented to maintain GDP or to increase GDP or to get more tax revenues with rising home prices failed. Okay, fair enough. But if you think about it from the perspective of the real economy, they should see that there is no positive way in which you can absorb the negatives of a real estate challenge if you don't allow the market prices to adjust to reality.
So let me just ask one more question here, Daniel. If Chinese officials follow down the path that you have suggested, there could be some potentially serious, maybe, economic pain in the near term.
Absolutely, absolutely. There is no other way to address a real estate challenge of this magnitude in no economy. No, there are no measures that can be taken to address such an important real estate challenge after such a large increase in imbalances in the housing sector. It's a day of reckoning. It's happened in Sweden, it's happened in the UK, it happened in the United States, it happened in so many economies. Absolutely, there will be economic pain, but the way to look at it is that, this is the most important part, is that there is no other way to address it. There is no other. If you try to keep home prices at a level that is unjustified to economic reality, you don't address the problem of the real estate sector, and the economy suffers anyhow.